Hello Precalc and welcome to 6.2. So last lesson was law of sines. This one here's law of cosines. And it's pretty similar. I kind of like it. I think you will too. It's all with triangles again. All right, so we're going to use law of cosines to solve our oblique triangles. We're going to apply this with law of cosines, and then we're going to do a new formula. It's called Heron's formula. It's kind of fun. It's another way of finding area of a triangle like we did last time with 1/2 side included angle, sine of included angle. This one's a little bit different. Okay, law of cosines. I know it looks like there's 3 of them, but what it really is, let's draw our triangles out so you can see. All right, so we have A, B, and C. Okay, so if I'm trying to find side A right here, what you do is you take B squared plus C squared minus 2 times BC sine of the included angle. So it's kind of like the area one that you had, but now it's with law of cosines. And that will give you this guy squared. So then you have to take the square root to find it. And it's the same for all of them. So now if you want to find this one, you would do B squared, A squared, the 2 sides, minus 2 times AB cosine of included angle. So you're just following a pattern all the way around. All right. Use the law of cosines to find the opposite side of the given angle. So it's always opposite. Use the law of sines to find the angles opposite the shorter of the 2 given sides. We use this a lot because law of sines does not work well with obtuse angles. So if you have an obtuse angle, you have to use law of cosines to find it first. And this is what we got. We got A is 120, and we have our sides, and this is our included angle. So to find A squared, we square the side, plus we square the side, minus 2 times 7 times 8 times the cosine of 120. Remember your order of operations here. This here is multiplication, so this all goes together. You cannot change that, right? Later on, we're finding for cosine, so you have to do these in the correct order. And remember, multiplication is before your addition. Now, let's solve this out. You literally just type that in your calculator. You take the square root, and we get 13. It has to be positive because you cannot have a negative side length. Now we'll use law of sines to finish solving the triangle. So right now, let's type these in here so you can see what you got. I forgot to write that in, and I'm sorry. So we have angle A. I did not draw this to scale at all. Let's redo that. Okay, let's make angle A 120. There we are. So we have A, we have B, and we have C. A is 120. Okay, side B is 7, side C is 8. We just calculated side A, and it is 13. Now we're using the law of sines. So we do 13 over the sine of 120. If we find B first, 7 over the sine of B. Now it's just your math. So 7 times 120 divided by 113. Remember, don't clear your calculator. Take the inverse sine, and we get this angle is 28 degrees. Subtract, so 180 minus 120 minus 28, and we get C is 32. And we have now solved our triangle. All right, your turn. Pause and give it a shot. All right, this time A was 60. Side B is 20, side C is 30, and we have to find side A. So we know A squared is equal to the 2 sides, so 30 squared plus 20 squared minus 2 times each side times the cosine of the included angle. Type that in your calculator, and you should get 700. A squared, take the square root of both sides, and A is now equal to 26.5, approximately. So this guy equals 26.5. So now you were down to law of sines. So you should have done 26.5 over the sine of 60. I'm hoping you recognize the sine of 60. You could have saved yourself some time. But if not, that's okay. And we're going to do, let's do B first. 20 over the sine of B. Do your math. So now we have the sine of b is equal to 20 times the sine of 60 all over 26.5. Type it in your calculator and you should have got 0.6536. Do not clear your calculator. Inverse sine of your answer. And you should have gotten roughly 41 degrees. So now we've got 41 degrees for B. To calculate C, I should have written smaller. You take 180 minus 60 minus 41, and that equals 79 degrees. All right, now you've calculated your triangle. I hope you did a good job. All right, next, we're going to use it to find an angle. Not quite as nice this time. It's a little bit more work. So I'm giving you 3 sides. All right, and I need to find all my angles. So if I chose 10 right here, that means I am finding angle B. All right, so you always find this side equals this angle. So now we have to do our math, but carefully. So we got 10 squared, 8 squared, plus 5 squared. Remember, this goes together because it's multiplication. So now I got 89, add these two, minus 80 cosine of B. You cannot combine these two because this is one term. So your first step is to subtract 89. So make sure you're following your order of operations. Then you divide by the negative 80. Okay, now I take the inverse cosine of that answer, and B is equal to 98 degrees. We always find the larger first. If you noticed, we did this because it was opposite the largest side. So you always find the largest angle with law of cosines. And then we use law of sines to find the rest. And it doesn't matter which one you find first. I just chose A because I know I did. So now you take 8 over the sine of A equals 10 over the sine of 98. Multiply it out. Do your inverse sine. And we get 52 degrees. So this here is 52 degrees. Now subtract 180 minus 52 minus 98. And your other angle is 30. All right. I hope you had fun and did a great job. Okay. Try yours. So now when you look at this, we have A is 6, B is 9, C is 4. Again, B is the largest, so that's the one we find. So we start with 9 squared equals 4 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 times 4 times 6 times the cosine of B is where you're going, because that was the largest angle. So now let's do our math. We get 81 equals 16 plus 36 minus, 2 times 4 times 6, 48. Cosine of B. Now we're going to take and put these together just so you can see it. Subtract your 52. So this is 29 equals negative 48 cosine B. Divide by a negative 48. So your cosine B is equal to 0.6041. Now remember to find your angle. That's inverse cosine of the 0.6041. Do not clear your calculator there. And you should have gotten approximately 127 degrees. So now I know this here is 127. Now we're going to use law of sines to find it. Doesn't matter which one you find. Again, I chose A. So I did 9 over the sine of 127 equals 6 over the sine of A. Do your math. So now you know the sine of A is equal to 6 times the sine of 127 over 9. So the sine of A is equal to 0.5324. Don't clear. Inverse sine. And we get approximately 32 degrees. So up here, we now have 27, 32 degrees. Your C is 180 minus 127 minus 32, which equals 21. I hope you did a good job. Those are kind of fun to solve. All right, applied problem. Let's see if we can do some math here that actually makes sense. Okay, we have two airplanes leaving an airport at the same time, different runways, so they're not going to run into each other. One flies directly north, right here, at 400 miles per hour. The other plane flies on a bearing of 75 degrees north, 75 degrees east, so he's going this direction. He's going 350 degrees, or 350 miles per hour. Okay, how far apart will the airplanes be after 2 hours? So the 75 never changes. I have to multiply by 2 because it's 2 hours long, and that tells me how long this is. So that means this side length is 800, this side length is 700. I want to find this. It is literally the law of cosines. So b squared equals 800 squared plus 700 squared minus 2 times 800 times your 700 times your cosine of 75. Plug it in your calculator. It's quite a long number, actually. 40122.66 roughly. Square root. Remember, you can only have a positive. And we've got 916.58 miles apart is how far these airplanes are from each other. I hope you enjoyed that. I think they're quite fun. All right, last but not least is Heron's formula. And there's a proof for this, but we're not going to do it because you are not required to prove it. What it is the area is equal to the square root of S, which is half the perimeter. This is how you find S. You take all the sides, add them up, and divide it by 2. So it's S times S minus the first side, S minus the second side, S minus the third side. Pretty easy, right? So step 1 is you calculate S. 1/2, side, side, side. And we've got 20. Step 2, we plug it in the formula. So this is S. This is S minus A, S minus B, S minus C. Type it in your calculator. 47 square meters. Okay, pause and do yours. Step 1 was to calculate S. 1/2, 12 plus 16 plus 24. And you should have gotten 26. Step 2 is the area. Square root 26, and then 26 minus A, 26 minus B, 26 minus C. Plug that in your calculator, and you should have gotten 85.3 meters squared. All right. I hope you enjoyed that. Good luck on your homework. Make sure you're posting questions when you have any on the discussion board.